that it will develop in you, which is what develops character. Character being different from personality. Personality, flash in the pan often and can't go the distance, but character is something that goes the distance and involves diligence, persistence, and endurance over the long haul. And those are the elements of strength, long suffering or endurance. And so honesty is crucial for this, and awareness. Because what comes with addiction often, as it's setting in because of the stigma and because of the ignorance, often is denial that there's a problem. So the first step is getting honest and getting real with ourselves if we have such a thing, such as smoking, etc. There's many addictions. And so this takes faith and courage daily, rather than the tendency to run and avoid and all that kind of way, and to apply the principles that we're learning. And to do that diligently, setting goals and be determined daily, consistently and daily. And so another thing that's required is to keep it simple, stupid, or KISS, I call it. Getting this from the 12-step programs and groups, keep it simple, stupid, to keep your life as simple as possible and honest, because honesty and simplicity and being real and authentic and transparent, all those things are honesty. Those are all qualities of honesty. And so knowledge and training and understanding how these biblical principles pertain to what I'm about to tell you. So all of these are godly character traits in the Bible, and these are all Christ-likeness. This is the way Jesus Christ was, who, as a Christian, is our role model. Now, if you're not a Christian, that's okay. There are support groups, specifically 12-step support groups. Those 12 steps are initiated by a Christian, and this is why they work to set the captives free worldwide. Because we may or may not know the name of this higher power, but the first step is to go fix the idolatry that started it, which is misplaced attachment, which is to self-idolatry, thinking we know better, and to put our faith in a higher power or something greater than ourselves, a higher power, God as we understand. Eventually, if you're really seeking the truth, you're going to find Jesus Christ, because that's his name. And he most definitely is a higher power. This is God the Son. But for now, we have the 12-step groups, support groups that help with the treatment. So I'm just going to get into a few concepts right now, or defining concepts, if you will, that habits are developed over time. They're repetitions of thoughts or feelings or actions, and after about 3 weeks, that's about how long, 3 to 6 weeks it takes to develop a new habit, the research shows. And this happens, or repeated actions over time develops habits. Now, habits may be, or attachments, may be healthy or unhealthy. Depends on whether they lead to life or they're leading to loss and death. Loss of control, loss of liberty, and death. That's a form of death. Loss and death are co-equal in meaning in the Bible. And so life, the abundant life, which is what Jesus said, the truth leads to abundant life and strength and health and hope and life, integrity, etc. Well, that develops over long term by applying healthy thoughts, feelings, and concepts, or thoughts, feelings, and actions, behavior over time. At least 3 weeks will develop a new behavior, a healthy behavior, say, to replace the old unhealthy behavior. And so over time this develops into a stronghold for good, you might call it, that will lead to increased life, or increased athleticism, if you will, increased goodness, increased positive influence, increased energy, increased hope, faith, love, peace, joy. These are the fruits of the Spirit spoken of in Galatians 5:22. And the addictions are spoken of in Galatians 5:19. You might want to look those up, some of the addictions. And so addictions are, if abnormal, yes, addictions are abnormal, but if the unhealthy attachments, or what I mean by abnormal, anything that's leading to loss of energy or life or relationships, etc., in any of the areas of functioning, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually, any of those areas of functioning where we're losing control is what I mean by an unhealthy attachment. And usually it's all of them, because it's progressive. This is another thing about addictions or unhealthy attachments. They're progressive. Now, while it's yet minor, it's called an unhealthy attachment. But when it becomes major and we start to lose control in our life and we can't stop, this is when it's becoming an addiction. And the root of addiction is idolatry or misplaced trust. God, the higher power, God as you understand Him, I understand Him. I've got developed a relationship with God the Son, and so I understand His name to be Jesus Christ, and I know Him quite intimately through knowing, seeking, knocking, and asking. So knowing His Word and applying it and obeying it and coming closer and closer to Him, because that's what happens. And so as you become closer to Him, He reveals Himself to you. And so He has revealed Himself to be Jesus Christ, or King Jesus Christ, and the one who sets us free, and the one who is the Word. And so the root of idolatry is putting our affections and our trust in developing habits in anything other than God. So we have to go back to the first step. If we've lost our way and we've gone into unhealthy attachments and addictions, or what the Bible calls sin or error. Sin and error are the same, meaning the same. And so the judgment is going off. And so a person is now entering into a destructive cycle of death. That's what that means. And so loss is going to come from that way. And so the root of it is idolatry or misplaced trust in any other God other than God, the higher power, God, the one who created our Creator, the one who created everything that is, including ourselves, the one we have to thank for all that we have and are. That's what God is. And when our trust comes to just self, that's called self-idolatry, and so that is error. That is on the road to destruction. That is on the road to going by our own understanding and wisdom, and this is how addictions happen, through ignorance as to what it is we're actually sowing and therefore going to reap in the long run. The harvest is going to be some form of death, whether it's a loss of some kind, a divorce, destruction of self, family, others, relationships, ourselves, our health. These are all the fruit of death. And so that is coming from error and the judgment going off, because we have misplaced our affections and our trust and our faith, more or less, in self,